So we just seen the darkness that is being done in dark come into light, right? That all happened for a reason. What's done in the dark will come to light. That needed to happen. We needed to see that they were stealing the life force blood from children, right? That had that was a wake up call. We needed to see that, right? Now, the new wake up call is that we as a whole need to be mindful of why there's so much frustration and irritation and anger around women, girls choosing to be celibate or to refrain from having sex until marriage. This is all spiritual. It has always been spiritual. Allow me to explain, right? Now, say you have young girls who are choosing not to have sex. You have girls in high school who are choosing not to have sex. You have middle-aged women who are choosing not to have sex. You have women in their 18s to 20s that are not having sex, 30 to 40s, 50 to 60s. The list goes on. There's like a mass wake up, right? So there's a large percentage of women who are choosing not to fornicate. Spiritually, that is the word for it. They are choosing not to fornicate. Now, I'm not sure on the masturbation, but I do know that they're choosing not to fornicate. And because some are choosing abstinence, that means that they're choosing not to have sex until marriage. Now, spiritually, this is going to affect those who cipher and take destinies and purposes from people through sex magic, right? Keep in mind, this is all spiritual. Now, what do these people do when they do this dark magic? They steal people purposes. They steal their destiny. They steal things that don't belong to them in the spiritual, but they're able to steal it because of they have legal rights spiritually to take it because of you sinning, right? Now, also, if all of these age groups aren't having sex, right? And they're choosing to be more mindful with having sex, that will also conclude to a smaller percentage of babies. Now, one, they want the babies. They want these set babies, women who have kids out of wedlock or who tend not to have a unit home. They're also in the spirit. It also links to a child usually not being covered spiritually, meaning not being prayed over, not the person pleading the blood of Jesus over that child. So that child is in the spirit. It shows that they're open to be how do you say, harassed spiritually, right? And so then they have a, how do you say, they're marked in the spirit, right? So if they're marked in the spirit, they'll usually have the same thing that they're marked with would be the same thing that they're triggered and picked with all through life, right? Now let me stay on focus. So now think about it. Now if there are women who are just willy-nilly having sex, right? They're willy-nilly having babies. These babies aren't covered. These babies aren't protected. That means that spiritually, these babies are not covered in the blood of Jesus. So, the issue with celibacy and the issue with women choosing that wait to have sex into abstinence is all spiritual. Satan, the devil, and his minions, they don't want it, because you go from being an easy target to a highly more difficult target. And easy targets is easy offerings to their altars. Harder targets run the chances of conflict in the spiritual realm, meaning if it's a unit, meaning a husband and a wife, even if the woman is weak, the husband can pray over the wife and children. If the husband or the wife is weak, one or the other can pray over the other as well as the child. So they don't want that. They simply don't want that. And if you take away, just the unit, and it's just women or young girls, and they're choosing not to have sex, then they can't also have sex magic with them and steal their purpose or their destinies. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the biggest issue. The biggest issue is they're not having sex. They can't do sex magic. If the young girls or middle-aged women or whatever the case aren't having sex outside of marriage and they're choosing to wait till marriage, there's no children out of wedlock. There's no children not being covered. They can't get 2 for 1 deal, meaning they can't get the kid as well as the mom. This is all spiritual. A lot of times we see on the physical, and we don't talk about what occurs in the spiritual. This also happens in church. We always talk about the physical, but we need to get to a place that we start talking about the spiritual in church. Speaking on not only having sex out of wedlock, but speaking on the dangers of constantly having sex out of wedlock. A woman or a man constantly having children, these children are uncovered because you are out here and you're doing these things, and your kid is suffering your curse because you're not in a place to where you can plead the blood of Jesus over your children. Your children are being harassed by these demons. This is all spiritual. They need the women for sex magic. They need the same-sex women to have kids so they can steal their children. This is all connected. Celibacy, refraining to have sex until marriage. They don't want none of that. This is all spiritual.